If you've clicked on this video, I'm going to assume that you're someone who's meditating at the moment and you've got to a place where you're not really experiencing much. Maybe you've just reached a place of silence. Maybe you close your eyes, you start to calm the mind a bit. There's a few thoughts here and there. Maybe you've gone beyond that, but nothing really more is taking place. Maybe you're just seeing the darkness behind your eyelids, and you look online and you look on YouTube videos, or you read a book or wherever, and you're seeing that some people are having flashing lights, they're seeing visuals, they're having out-of-body experiences, or they're having surges of energy pouring around them, and you're wondering, why is that not happening to me? Am I doing something wrong? Is there something that I should be doing differently? Well, in today's video, I'm going to kind of break this down for you and explain what it means and kind of give you some guidance about how you should move forward and what you should do to work with the experience that you're having at the moment. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about actually, and it is on topic, but I'll have to sort of explain it to bring it round and make sense of what I've just mentioned to you, how it kind of links together. And that is gratitude. So if I was born and I suddenly started to, I got to 8, 9, 10 years old and I started looking around at all the families with big mansions and, fast cars and loads of money, I would, the potential for me to judge them and to feel like I've not got enough, even if I had a perfectly good upbringing, that potential is massive. It's so easy to look at others and say, why have I not got that? That's not fair. But oftentimes when it comes to meditation, we don't have, or we're not taught often to have that sense of gratitude for the experiences that we are having. And I know you're probably thinking, well, this doesn't answer my question. I know you're just saying be grateful, basically. I will get to that in a bit, but I wanted to make this clear first because this is huge. There are thousands and probably hundreds of thousands of people all around the world who want one thing: peace of mind. I obviously don't know the figures, but I would imagine there are hundreds of thousands of people who would do anything for peace of mind, whose lives are probably upside down, and they think, God, I would do anything to have peace of mind. My mind is just a jumble of garbage and I can't control it. And that is the lens that they are then looking at their life through. So everything in life is now a problem, is now not quite right. And if you're at this sort of state in your meditation where you're able to calm the mind and you get into this place of nothingness, I'm really, really trying to encourage you to recognize how fortunate that you are already, because there are so many people that don't have that. And actually to get to that state is really, really good. There are many, many people that start meditating and they think they can't do it because they're just overrun by thoughts, or they give up really early, or actually they're struggling to get to that point, because even that is an achievement in itself, to get to a point where your mind is actually quite calm, quite still, but nothing more is happening. So what I'm really getting at is that if you're finding yourself comparing your experience to others, notice that in yourself and remind yourself that there are many people in life who have totally different experiences in the world. And it's quite common to most people and quite known that it's not healthy to judge yourself with them, because there's so many different factors to kind of, think through. And also the fact that someone in the world has lots of money and fast cars and all this kind of lavish lifestyle doesn't mean that they're more advanced, or that they've got a better life, or that they're happier. And in the same way with meditation, there'll be lots of people that see flashing lights and have these kind of mystical experiences. That doesn't mean that they're more advanced. It doesn't mean that they're in a better state of mind, or that they're more spiritually progressed than you. It's just a different stage. And I've spoken about phases in meditation before, and I won't dive into that in this video because it's not the right video for it. But I roughly broke down how there are roughly 5 stages, and that we start off with a busy mind, we move on to phase 2, which is a calmer mind, then we go to phase 3, which is typically where people will have lots of experiences, and then we go stage 4, which is silence, which is probably where you are if you've clicked on this video, and then 5 is a bigger, more profound experience. But many people come in at stage 4, and so you might start meditating, and actually be quite quickly into this place of stillness. And in the same way that someone might be born into a family that's a millionaire and another person might be born into a family with nothing, that's life. That's based on many different factors, which I don't need to go into in this video because I'll just massively overcomplicate this video. But we all come into this life at a different place, in a different stage, for whatever reason, for many different reasons. And equally, spiritually, we will also come at a different stage. And because someone's got, as I said earlier, or having more experiences than you, it doesn't by any means mean that they're further ahead or that what you're doing is wrong. So please do bear that in mind. I know it's not, the most exciting way to start off, but gratitude for where you are is absolutely huge. So please do remember that. Just a quick one. I wanted to remind you that I do have an online meditation and spiritual school. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. It's called the Inner Journey School. I have classes throughout the week. There's courses in there. There's an amazing community of like-minded meditators and spiritual seekers. So it's a great place to develop your practice and get closer and closer to understanding yourself and the divine. So I'll leave a link to that in the description. Feel free to check it out. The next point I wanted to talk about is intent. And to give you an idea of what I mean by this, I'm going to try and cast your mind back, if you can, to a friend or someone that you know who isn't in particularly great shape, but seems to have been going to the gym for like 10 years. I know loads of people from school, or a couple of people that come to mind, who have always gone to the gym. And when I look at them physically, they don't look any different. And I know people are going to be thinking, well, maybe they're not training to get, aesthetically in shape or whatever. But there are people that I know who were training for that as the outcome, and their bodies are very, very similar to how they were 10 years ago. And the reason for that is largely down to intent. And that is like the subtle energy, effort, and focus that you carry into whatever it is that you do. In this analogy, the gym. I could go to the gym for an hour every day, but I could do it quite casually, where I'm not putting in, I've not got that same intent. I'm doing it quite casually. I'm looking at my phone a bit. I'm going on a few things. I'm still there for the hour and I go every day. But if I went for an hour every single day and I didn't use my phone, and I went in with this resolve and this intent to say, I'm going to progress today. I'm going to get stronger today. If you wanted to get more aesthetic, it might be, I'm going to get bigger today. And the intent here is the difference. And the same can be said for meditation. There'll be many people who have meditated for 20 years or 10 years. Because they've meditated for that long, it doesn't mean that they've progressed, they've utilized that time properly. And so if you're meditating at the moment for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you're in this place of silence and you're wanting to go deeper, then I'm going to advise you, what I would encourage you to do is to develop this intent. Because many times people can get to this place of silence, and I know I touched on at the start, people not being grateful for that, but it can also go the other way, where we become too satisfied and we think, well, this must be it. I'm at peace of mind. This must be all there is. And that's also not the truth. That's also a restriction. So meditation is always this balancing act. It's always this yin-yang balance. You don't put in no effort, because if you don't show up and you've got no intent there, you're not going to get anywhere. But equally, if you try too hard, you get in your own way. And so meditation is this paradoxical sort of balance between the middle of everything. We don't want to focus too hard, but we don't want to also have no focus if we're doing like a single pointed focused meditation. So there's lots of things to meditation where we need to find this kind of interesting, subtle balance. And intent is a really, really key part of that. Carrying intent into your meditation is really key. And a way that I would kind of explain it to give you a bit more context is that for me personally, when I meditate, I want to get to the point where I'm experiencing the divine in beyond all forms, beyond everything that we could possibly perceive through our senses. I want to know the divine. I want to have that taste of the divine. Not just theoretical knowledge, but experiential knowledge. And so I carry that intent into my meditations. It's always a subtle driver, but it doesn't mean that I go in there with, gritting my teeth, trying really hard, but it's just a subtle driving force. And I've found personally that when that intent is good and aligned and strong, I go way further than if I'm just getting up every day, meditating, ticking the box, so to speak. I don't make as much progress because the intent isn't there. So intent is, I've rubbed it out. Intent is huge. And I would really, really encourage you to look at your own intent. And you might not have the same goal as me. It might be something different. But if you're a spiritual seeker that is seeking truth, then have that as your intent. Make sure that you're looking at the meditation in a more serious way to perhaps how you are at the moment. Make sure that you're carrying that energy into your practice because it makes such a massive difference. Okay, and so the last point that I wanted to make about the topic of not having anything happen to you in particular in meditation is arguably the most important. And if I kind of remind you that the baseline of all of our experiences is silence. So when we're getting to that point of silence in meditation, we're reaching a place of pure potential because everything comes out of silence. Silence is the core foundation of everything. And if you imagine that, our thoughts kind of reside up here, that's almost like the activity of the mind. That all takes place, but beneath the surface of that is silence. And in meditation, as you'll probably know by now, you'll have, to begin with, little gaps where you tap into silence. You'll have little periods where the thoughts subside for a moment, or there's a little break between the thinking, and you'll just be this pure peace, this pure silence, and then the thinking starts again. And obviously, more so if you're watching this video because you're not experiencing much, as time goes on, the space between your thinking gets longer. So you'll find that you'll drop into silence and then you won't become aware of the thinking again for 5 seconds. And then, in a few weeks or a few months, 10, 20, 30 seconds. And that period extends where you can just immerse yourself in silence and enjoy that experience and just be in that pure potential. And you can deepen into that more and more and more. Many people get there, and as I was saying about intent, they think, oh, beautiful, silence, not much going on here. Well, actually, no, you can deepen into that. You can pull yourself more and more, want to know more, want to understand yourself more, and continue to delve into the silence. And what will start happening, or what often is starting to occur when people feel as though nothing's happening, is that the mind is actually trying to interfere with this silence by saying, I'm bored, or saying, nothing is happening. That in itself is a distraction that your mind is creating. The mind understanding that when you're diving into silence, you're starting to get closer and closer to your true nature. The mind, this is being thought here, so let's just say mind, and here as well. That understands that when you become realized, when you know what your true nature is, the ego is no longer needed. So it creates a lot of distractions and tries to interfere and ruffle up what's going on by creating feelings of boredom or saying things like nothing is happening or I'm not progressing. So the mind is actually getting in the way of your progress there. So always remember that. Just keep on going back into silence. And even if whatever thoughts arise, continually let them go. Continually don't let them interfere with the process, and strengthen and build on that intent and keep sitting with it and remind yourself, this is a beautiful experience. I'm fortunate and blessed to be in this space of peace, and enjoy that. Before you get up and out of the meditation, it's quite easy to just, finish your half an hour or however long it is, jump up and walk straight off. I always encourage my students, take a minute, absorb what you've just experienced, remind yourself of how beautiful it feels, that, the subtle sensations, that feeling of peace that sort of blossoms more and more from you, the stillness you've experienced, which is so rare these days. Enjoy it, soak it up, carry that with you into the rest of your day, and you'll find that it enhances the day massively. It's a really good thing. Don't get down on yourself because you're in a great place. Keep deepening into it. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Just concern yourself on getting, doing the work, sitting in meditation every day, loving it, enjoying it. And what you're learning about yourself will build. You will learn more and more and more and more. Just keep on, don't ever stop. If you're looking for guidance with meditation and spirituality, I'll leave a link in the description to my online school. It's called the Inner Journey School. I'd love to see you there. So failing that, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.